Charles Soule and Ramon Rosanas launch a rescue mission as Dameron defies Leia's order and leaves to rescue his wife from the Tarkin's will, but Commander Zara has her own plans for the rebel rescue. Charles Soule continues his epic rescue mission and Crimson Dawn tie-ins as we finally get some movement on the rescue of Shara Bey, something that has been lingering in the book for quite some time now. The issue is filled with many great character moments, really headlined by Qi'Ra and Leia's game of wits with one another. It's been a lot of fun seeing these two characters who are very important to Han Solo interact and play off one another's ideologies, and it'll be interesting to see what rubs off on what character, and maybe Leia comes around to Qi'Ra's way of thinking, or maybe Qi'Ra ends up softening up a little bit thanks to Leia and her spark of hope. What Charles really excels at in this issue, and what he's been doing a lot of throughout the book though, is spotlighting newer characters or supporting characters, or characters who would usually fill that supporting role. In this case, Poe Dameron's parents and Commander Zara, the newer villain who has been a lot of fun to see throughout these issues, and it's been refreshing seeing a lot of the story come from her side as well, and finding out how smart she is when it comes to rebel tactics and tricks, and she's not like your usual commander who would usually be undone by the rebels. There is also a nice bit of connective tissue with Crimson Reign, as the rebel base that she goes to assault at the end of this issue is the one Deathstick tipped the Empire off on at the end of Crimson Reign issue 2 in order to get Catalea and to stop the syndicates from joining forces. Soule writing all of these books definitely has been a boon when it comes to stuff like that connectivity and making it all feel like one large epic story. Ramon Rosanas continues to deliver some fantastic Star Wars action, but really what he excels at this issue is the focused character moments like the ones with Qi'Ra and Leia. I love Chewie's visualization of how he would deal with Jabba's palace in a brutal and bloody fashion. It was a nice bit of action during all of the character development moments, and Ramon also begun drawing some really cool fast-paced space battle action, which will no doubt be the big set piece for the next issue, so I'm very much looking forward to more of that. Star Wars issue 22 was a great character focused issue that finally moved the rescue mission plot along in a big way, expertly connecting it up to the larger Crimson Reign event story while setting up a thrilling third act for the overall story. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10. Star Wars issue 22 finds the Vermilion meeting with the Home One as Qi'Ra boards the rebel capital ship to meet with Leia, revealing that she comes bearing gifts. C-3PO says he has prepared refreshments, but Leia thinks that Qi'Ra won't be staying that long, surprised the woman even came. Qi'Ra reminds her that some of the rebels are her agents, and because Leia doesn't know who, she won't try a thing. She reveals that her gifts to Leia are the location of the last rebel fleet division, but Leia knows there's more than one division out there. However, Qi'Ra reveals that Commander Zara has actually destroyed all but one last division. Leia asks why the woman is telling her, so Qi'Ra reminds her the syndicates are at war, which she thinks is foolish, and while others love making enemies, she prefers to make friends. But Leia knows that it's more than that, since she wants the rebels to keep fighting and wants the civil war to go on as long as possible, since a strong alliance is good for business. Leia decides to take her help this time, knowing if it's some trick, she will find out how strong the alliance really is. Qi'Ra knows that she won't betray her since she has very good friends in this fleet, asking how Chewbacca is, wanting to go and say hello to the Wookiee while she's there. Leia says that Chewie is busy working some things out, as Chewbacca meanwhile blows his way through Jabba's palace, killing Boba Fett, Dengar, and a myriad of other bounty hunters that get in his way as he makes it towards the carbonite frozen Han. Leia contacts him to stop his simulation, finding Leia has brought Qi'Ra to see him. Chewie merely touches his bowcaster's trigger as he looks at the woman, as Leia explains that Chewie has been preparing for an assault on Jabba's palace, visualizing it all in his head and even programming remotes to act like Jabba's guards. Qi'Ra thinks that an assault on his palace would be ill-advised, but Leia knows that Han is his best friend and now he's stuck in carbonite on Jabba's wall all because of Qi'Ra's choices. However, Qi'Ra knows it's more the choices of Lando, Darth Vader, Boba Fett, Jabba, and even Han himself that led to this. Leia knows though that Qi'Ra is the one now in front of Chewie, and they hold grudges longer than they hold life debts. Qi'Ra thinks that Chewie needs a distraction, knowing she can give them more than the fleet division, knowing that she can give them Commander Zara. Zara meanwhile tortures Shara Bey, getting every bit of information Shara stole from the ship and how she survived, but Zara already knew all of that, demanding Shara tell her something she doesn't know, like the communications code the rebels have devised to communicate with one another, what their targets are, as well as hand over a list of every rebel collaborator who survived the Battle of Hoth. Shara refuses, thinking that the commander should just dump her out the airlock since she won't be turning on the Alliance. Zara activates a hologram of baby Poe, revealing that they know all about him, including the planet that Shara's father is raising him on, while she and Kes fight in the war. Shara relents, knowing that she'll talk if they don't hurt him. Qi'Ra meanwhile tells Leia that she has an operative in place who can tell Leia the exact whereabouts of Zara and her fleet. Leia wonders if she expects something in return, but all Qi'Ra wants is Leia's friendship and in time, her trust. She says she knows that Captain Amilyn Holdo has been sourcing the fleet's food and supplies through the syndicates, but with a war, that chain is in peril and she would like to take it over and give the Alliance whatever they need, at a reasonable price that is. Leia figured that it would be business after all, but agrees to the terms, wanting her to meet with Captain Holdo for specifics. Qi'Ra takes her leave, wishing her good luck as Leia meets with Holdo, who asks if Leia trusts the woman. Leia doesn't, but she doesn't need to since it makes sense for Qi'Ra and the Crimson Dawn to do this, wanting to see what's waiting at the coordinates she gave them. Leia hopes that Amilyn will keep an eye on Qi'Ra for her while dealing with the supply chains, thanking her old friend for coming to see her since it always feels like a weight has been taken off of her shoulders when she does. Holdo knows that she's been carrying Leia's weight ever since they were teenagers, as Leia decides to get the mission to save the fleet division underway with the commanders, wanting Holdo to find Kes Dameron and send him up to her, but Amilyn already knows that Dameron took his Pathfinders and Starlight squad and left, figuring Leia authorized it. Leia didn't, knowing you almost have to admire his guts. Starlight squad meanwhile head through hyperspace as Kes briefs the team, showing them the location of the Tarkin's will where Shara's message came from. He tells them that the destroyer was damaged in the Battle of Yavin by the Death Star exploding, and the damage was never fixed, acting as a type of tribute or memorial to the fallen. But thanks to that, they now have an opening free from security sensors, and it's how Shara was able to hide for so long and how they will get aboard without being detected. Kes tells them that Starlight Squad will engage the destroyer as a distraction until they board in their U-Wing, telling the crew to get their gear together as Alliance Command begins hailing them. Kes tells the pilot not to answer since if they never got the return to base order, they can say that they never disobeyed it. Leia finds Kes isn't answering the hail, knowing that Kes is going to get his people killed. The squad drop out of hyperspace in front of the Tarkin's will, with Kes telling Lulo not to take chances, needing the TIEs to be kept busy so they can fly through the gap in the sensor grid. Lulo knows that they are going to kick up a ruckus so big that they won't even know if a moon fell on them. The TIEs come at the squad as Kes's team maneuver the U-Wing into the damaged portion of the destroyer. Commander Zara knows that the battle feels off, noting how the fighters are avoiding kill shots. She realizes it's a diversion and the rebels are mounting a rescue attempt for Shara Bey. She leaves to hunt down the infiltration team herself as an officer tells her of an alert from the ISB, who say that an informant on the tip line has tipped them off to another fleet division of the rebels in Panizia. Zara orders the ship to be taken to hyperspace and to head to Panizia, telling her officers they have no time to call back the fighters since they don't want the rebels to slip away. She knows that the pilots will be fine and they will come back and pick them up, and besides, if they can't survive against a small rebel force, they don't need them. The Tarkin's will jumps away as Starlight Squad wonder what will happen now as Kes's team's U-Wing was also left behind, while Kes and the team find themselves in hyperspace on the destroyed section of the destroyer without a way off the ship. Kes knows that the mission still hasn't changed and they'll find Shara and she'll take them to a shuttle to escape, rounding up the Pathfinders to go and find his wife. On Panizia, Cadlia and the other rebels are suddenly attacked by the Empire as the Tarkin's will begins its orbital bombardment. Zara demands that no one be left alive and the base be turned to ash as an officer tells her that some ships are dropping out of hyperspace, with their signatures registering as rebellion ships of all different classes. Zara thinks it's an ambush as the entire rebel fleet arrive to confront Zara. The commander isn't phased though, telling her people that the rebels think that they have won, but she couldn't have planned it better herself.